Welcome to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference, empowering the good, and we love talking about entrepreneurialism. We're honored to be joined by Shana Berkeley, Executive Director of Corner to Corner. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm great in our little office in East Nashville. Really excited about what we have in store. How are you today?
Doing good. So, when you talk about Corner to Corner, you've got a personal storyline. And when you talk about you shifting from being a lawyer to then a fashion designer and having your own fashion company and clothing and being now executive director of Corner to Corner, you got a cool storyline. So give us a little bit of your personal storyline.
I'll take that. Yes, I'm Shana Berkeley. I used to be a healthcare lawyer here in Nashville. And while I was practicing law, I fell in love with fashion. My coworkers loved my style. And I thought maybe this could be a business. Learned about Corner to Corner on Facebook when I was supposed to be working out. I'm sure that's the story of a lot of people. And then I took the class. This was in 2017, in the fall of 2017. I went over to McFerrin Rec Center and I found at these classes, the Academy, which is an entrepreneurship class powered by Corner to Corner, a lot of the things that I had left at the altar of law, community, time, creativity, being my own self, autonomy, thinking outside of the box. And so I founded The Fashion Chase, which is a fashion business where I help corporately creative women find and redefine their personal style. I did those two things simultaneously. And in 2019, I actually transitioned full-time to be the staff person for the Academy at Corner to Corner. And then in 2022, I was promoted to be the executive director. So it's been a really connected but windy road to see how law and entrepreneurship really do overlap. And what I found as I've worked here is that there are a lot of things that entrepreneurship overlaps with, and it really is a great tool for all of our neighbors to flourish on their own terms, which is the mission over here at Corner to Corner.
Well, and I love that you have a personal storyline with this and obviously are so passionate about it. And so let's dive into the entrepreneurialism side of this, especially when you talk about working with Black business owners, African Americans, lifting and focused on equity. And so talk about that aspect of Corner to Corner.
Yeah, so for any of your viewers and listeners who don't know Corner to Corner, we are a Nashville-based nonprofit, and our mission is to make sure our neighbors flourish on their own terms. We do that with two programs, but the one we're talking about today is called the Academy. It's a 10-week program where we help underestimated entrepreneurs plan, start, and grow their own small businesses. And this is vital because a couple of studies really support the work that we do. And one, Goldman Sachs put out a study that said that 13% of white men-owned businesses compared to just 0.5%, so not even a 4% of Black women. This is not a talent gap. It's an opportunity gap. It's an equity gap. And so Corner to Corner is here to build on-ramps and opportunities for our neighbors. And again, this is supported through work of the SBA, some of our own local studies that talk about entrepreneurialism. It talks about the population and how Black populations are hyper underestimated and hyper underrepresented in the realm of entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship is one of the great equalizers to kind of combat those historical inequities. And so here at Corner to Corner, our heart's desire is to make sure that that can happen in a really beautiful, communal, creative, and joyful way.
When you think about access, and I love that you phrase it in terms of opening the access, it's access to education. So understanding all of the nuances of being a business owner, and then it's access to resources and relationships that then can further open those floodgates of opportunity. Talk about those two, access points in terms of education and then resources and relationships.
Really, if you are in the entrepreneurship ecosystem, you understand how important relationships, education, funding, capital, all of those things are. And at Corner to Corner, what we want to say is that, hey, life is not a pie that if somebody else gets a slither, you get less. It's actually an ocean. Can you ever drain the ocean? Probably not. So you never worry about having enough water to surf or to swim or to take your kids because it's enough for everybody. We believe that same thing is true here. And so for us, we have that 10-week class, which is the first phase of entrepreneurship. We teach the foundations, your customer, your mission, accounting principles, legal structure, your break-even point, the things that it doesn't take talent, but it's a business behind the business, so to speak. And then the second phase of that is our alumni program. It's very much so akin to college. So think of electives. So let's say you don't have a website, you can pick this one. You don't have a business bank account, you can pick that one. You don't understand QuickBooks or Wave, you can pick that one. And so they're able to pick and choose where they are in their business. And since we started in 2016, we've had 932 graduates. They put $21 million back into the neighborhood economy based on the SBA Small Business Report Card. And in November, on November 14th, we're inviting the entire city out as we cross our 1,000 graduate mark. And these things are really important. So people are open to entrepreneurship, they're interested. We'll invite them into our community to say, hey, we need mentorship, guest speakers. And if they're interested in the class, they can join our wait list on our website as well. So it's a little bit for everybody who loves entrepreneurship, business, or just are subject matter experts over here in our corner of the universe.
You have big goals, and so talk about the goals.
We have an audacious goal that we're going to need the entire city to help us. We want to launch 10,000 Black businesses in and around Nashville in the next 10 years. Now, before you're like, whoa, that number is huge. We have done our research. We have the data from not only locally, but statewide and nationally that says not only where Nashville is now, but the growth projection of Nashville can support that type of entrepreneurialism. And if we want to be a big city, if we want to compete with the other cities around, I know everybody has their objections about traffic and people, but listen, the people are coming. And so we need the infrastructure and the offerings to make sure that we can stay on pace with tourism, as well as people who are settling here in Nashville and calling Nashville their home. Entrepreneurship is one of those things. Having places to go and things to do is one of those things. And 10,000 Black businesses, not only locally, but people who do e-commerce and business outside of the state are going to make sure we bring more revenue into our state. So it's a win-win all around. In the next 10 years, we're going to help launch 10,000 businesses with other people who are also interested in Black entrepreneurship right here in Nashville.
I love it. So obviously your business, fashion, what are some of the other businesses? And you can obviously name names if you want, but talk about some of the different businesses that you've had the pleasure of being able to work with.
Yes, we have some fantastic businesses and really a diverse variety of industries. So we have A1 Mobile Notary, who is the Uber of notaries. She is fantastic, has a network of notaries around Nashville, has some large clients that I didn't ask if I can name drop, but a couple of them are watching here, and corporations around Nashville really support small businesses. Coneheads and Plain Jane, there are two restaurants. We're a restaurant and bar owned by Marcus Bugg, one of our graduates over in East Nashville. If you haven't visited them, you are missing out. That's the restaurant you need to visit this week here in Nashville. We have other people who are in fashion, custom clothing. We have people who an ear, nose, and throat doctor who had the medical degree, who worked for a big hospital but wanted to go out on her own. And knowing how to be a doctor and knowing how to run a business are two very different experiences. So we really helped her and collaborated with her as she turned her business dreams into a money-making reality, and so many more. We have people who do photo booth, event planning, balloon decor, the marvelous balloons who we love, people who do custom candles like Deli. We have the Nashville's premier reptile mobile bus. She has snakes and lizards and all these little creepy crawlers that kids love. She does parties and events in school, back to school, called Repta Girl. Honey Simmons is her name. So yeah, we have a little bit of everything for everyone. It's a truly amazing experience over here.
Yeah, I'm about to say that right there is a fully diverse, illustration of the different businesses for sure. What have you learned when you go through this process of being surrounded by other entrepreneurs and obviously being the executive director of Corner to Corner and being immersed in this, but being a business owner yourself? How have you grown? What have you learned in this process?
I love this question. And I think that people who run nonprofits don't get asked this question enough. Why? Because a nonprofit is a business, right? We actually have two customers. We have donors and we have the participants. We have people we have to pay. We have money we have to make based on the generosity of our neighbors. And we have a message we have to get out. So absolutely, we're also a business. I'm super grateful, Jeremy, for the question. Really what I've learned is a number of things. One is that the talent, passion, is driving already in our community. We don't need to create that. We don't need to save that. We don't need to prescribe that. What we're here to do is walk alongside of our neighbors to see how we can turn their business, not our business, their business dreams into a money-making reality, and how much the community has really and rallied around other people's dreams. It is just such a beautiful thing to see and experience. The second thing that I really love and I've experienced as a leader of a team is how to be creative, right? Everybody says creativity all day long, but what does creativity look like? How are we putting it in motion? How are we allowing things to not succeed? How are we like, oh, we tried that and that didn't work, but when it does hit, it hits big. And the last thing is to allow our community to celebrate with us. So that's why we do the biggest block party in Middle Tennessee twice a year. This one coming up November 14th, because allowing people to taste and see what is happening behind the scenes is really the joy and the glue that keeps that community together.
You alluded to it earlier, but Corner to Corner is so much more than the entrepreneurialism side. And so go ahead and touch on some of the other programs, and including the faith-based aspect of this as well.
Yeah, we are faith-based. And so what that means is that we are compelled by the love of God to do the work that we're doing. And our love just trickles over to our neighbors. It's not that we have to go, say, you must do this, you have to do this. It's actually the opposite of that, is that we offer them business classes. And if they are, and say, why do you care? You have a doctorate degree, Shana. Why is this important to you? Then God gives me an opportunity to show the love of God in that space. And if not, we believe the Lord will have them, collide with him in different places and spaces in their lives. But not only do we have that entrepreneurship program, we also have a kids program called Script to Screen, where we help kids fall in love with literacy through making their own movies. And our pilot data showed that kids read one level. 55% of the kids who participate increase one reading level in school. And so literacy is also an education marker for economics and economic mobility and economic equity. Why? Because studies show that people who are proficient at reading, particularly kids who are proficient at reading, make $23,000 more a year in their working life than kids who are not proficient at reading. And depending on how old we are and we retire, and Jeremy, the way the economy is going, we're gonna be old before we can retire, right? That could be $1 million difference based on reading and reading proficiency. And we believe the education system is doing what they can, what they have. And so we wanna just come alongside that system and really support some of our kids, but also tap into the things they love. Content creation, YouTube, movie making. We put industry grade cameras in their hands, boom mics, editing software. They make their own short film. They really find their own voices. They write their own screenplay. And with that writing, we're able to talk about new words, punctuation, capitalization, sentence structure, and a lot of other things that they learn in school, just to make sure that reading proficiency is up to par and what we need it to be for the future generation.
Yeah, and I love that really in both cases, there's this common thread around passion, using the passion and the purpose to ignite, the ability to lift. And whether that's on the business side, the entrepreneurialism side, or the literacy side with the youth. And when you look at going in and taking a screenplay, taking a script, and then seeing how that manifests into a movie, and why did they choose this punctuation, why did they choose these words to say, and then you watch it over here, and then to your point, have them write their own. I think the immersion in through their passion is what creates then the energy to drive the transformation. And so give a little bit more on that nuance, because I do think that that is a special twist to then create the success that you're having.
Absolutely. We work with middle schoolers. And by the time that age, if you've ever met a middle schooler, if you have a middle schooler, you understand they're finding themselves, but they're still kids. They want to be cool, but they're still trying to really find their own voice and kind of make their own space in life. And so this kind of creativity is a perfect outlet for them, because they're able to pick what they love. We have people who are not interested one bit about being in front of the camera, but they write the story. I'm remembering one of our students, Gravity, and she was really shy and quiet. And maybe I shouldn't say shy. I don't know if her family and friends would describe her in that way, but she was definitely quiet in our program. And once the time came, writing the screenplay, having ideas, giving direction, and in the next couple of years, maybe even being in front of the camera and letting that grow based on comfort level. It wasn't like, you have to do this. This is a grade. It wasn't a grade. It was for them to really see themselves and develop transferable skills, teamwork, conflict resolution, speaking up, knowing when to be quiet, knowing when to add your ideas, compromise. These are all things that kids are learning, and that will grow as the program grows and as they matriculate in their ages and their school years. And so it really is a beautiful thing to say they are pushing this along. We have no say in what the movie is. Kids love a horror movie. We give them some guidelines to make sure that it's kid appropriate, because we have a huge red carpet premiere. Think Comic-Con for middle schoolers. We have the red carpet. They have the director's chairs, and they're like, we're asking them questions like, what was the inspiration for this character? And they have all these little things popping in their head that is so creative. And I laughed when one of our students was break dancing. He's like, I was creative. I was able to break dance in this movie, and let me show you my moves. And we had a great time. So really those passions are pushing the projects forward in a beautiful way for our Nashville children.
I'm glad you added that, because to your point, it transcends the literacy, right? It's communication, it's confidence building, it's public speaking, it's dance, it's, but it's really the character development and the maturity that is what you're doing to be able to help lift the kids and give them endless opportunities for success in their lives, professionally and personally, and obviously spiritually too. So talk about the ways the community can help, because obviously we've covered a lot of ground. So how can we help your efforts?
Yes, so if you guys are saying, this is fantastic, this is where my heart is singing, we would love to have you in our community over here at Corner to Corner. So again, if you work for a business, or let's say you're a graphic designer, or you work in marketing, one of our first volunteers years back was a graphic designer for the Predators, and he was able to really help us understand what happens there. Shout out to Austin with Pen and Mug. And so really being able to say, hey, I have these skills that can transcend maybe my current job, but help entrepreneurs, we want to see you. If you're interested, if you have a business and you're like, I can help other people grow a business, we want to talk to you. If you love literacy, or if you're in the film industry, we want to talk to you. So how do we do that? There are two ways. The first is just to visit our website, cornertocorner.org/get involved, and you'll see a volunteer form there. If you have questions or just want to reach out directly to me, my email is always open. It's Shana, SHANA, at corner2corner.org. That's corner.org. Our phone number's on the website. We're on everybody's social media platform. And if you just want some joy on your timeline, follow us over on social media at Corner to Corner.
Well, once again, the website, corner2corner.org, corner.org. Make sure everyone check them out. Get involved. Shana, greatly appreciate everything you and your amazing team do to power the good. Thank you for coming on the show.
All right. We'll see you later. Thank you.